beautifully ugly win over Miami was merely an epitaph for the madness known as Week 1 of the 2019 college football season. We've got predictions for all top 25 games to help you get through the long and glorious holiday weekend. So much to get into, as well as week in our main event, Week 1, the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears on Thursday night. Hello, friends, and welcome to another season of our football shows. This is a Football Friday show here this evening. We are going to be previewing the top 25 college football games that will be taking place tomorrow. There will also be a game on Sunday night and also one to cap off your Labor Day on Monday night. And in addition, we will have the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears, Week 1 of the NFL season. It's a milestone year for both sports. For college football, this is the 150th season of college football that started technically last night. And then next week, we will have the start of the NFL's 100th season. Both of them bound to be special, bound to be exciting. We can't wait. I am your host, Anthony Florio. As always, I am joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher. Michael Bullock not with us right now. He had a very special commitment this evening. Special Olympics night at the Pawtucket Red Sox, Paw Sox McCoy Stadium. They played a doubleheader, and I'm not sure what's going on with that right now, but Bullock not with us yet. But if he does come in while we're still on, we will simply catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully see him back here on Monday night for Ridiculously Raw. So, but for right now, MF and I, we got you covered. And, there's really nothing much more to say except let's get into the action. Let's get into the gameplay, friends. We've been waiting for this. We've been waiting months for this. Several months, to say the very least. And we couldn't be any more excited. We couldn't be any more delighted to bring you this content. So with all that being said, let's dive right on in. And we are going to start. Well, of course, let's do some quick recapping here. This actually started last night. Well, technically last Saturday. The Florida Gators and the Miami Hurricanes. What a game that ended up being. Florida winning 24-20 in the Citrus Bowl in Orlando. And so far in this week, going back to last night with top 25 action, none of the games were close. All of them were routes. Starting with the number 17 UCF Knights over the Florida A&M Rattlers, 62-0. Oofa. And then your reigning, defending, undisputed college football playoff national champion, Clemson Tigers, showing you why they are indeed the champs. They flexed their muscle. Easy win over Georgia Tech, 52-14. Number 12, Texas A&M, a 41-7 beatdown of the Texas State Bobcats. And then in the Holy War, number 14, Utah, with a 30-12 win over BYU. That was last night. Tonight, two top 25 games, and both of them routes. The number 18 Michigan Spartans, 28-7 winners over the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. And as of right now, over on ESPN, you don't really want to watch it unless you're a diehard Wisconsin fan. The number 19 Wisconsin Badgers against South Florida, one of the more intriguing matchups, very few of them, 42-0 on South Florida. All I can say going into this schedule, and I'm sure MF is going to agree with me on this, it is not the most exciting lineup, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Only one game has potential for any real excitement. Our game of the week, and we're going to get into that later on. But, that's really all I can say on that. So, let's start off the Saturday portion of it. And let me just say, we're going to be going through, it's pretty much going to be almost like a rapid fire because a lot of these games are practically going to be blowouts, except for that, like one real exciting one. So let's start it off with the number 5 team in the land, the Ohio State Buckeyes. They're going to be hosting the Florida Atlantic Owls at Ohio Stadium. This game will be at high noon over on Fox. And Fox's A team is going to have this game. You know, Gus Johnson with Joel Klatt and the lovely Jenny Taft on the sidelines. And unfortunately, I'm going through my spreads, my sheet of spreads, and unfortunately, the one that I always rely on has nothing but NAs. So I'm just going to have to find the odds here unless MF can help me out with that. So with all that being said,
Which game is it? Are you looking for?
The Ohio State.
27.5 points. Ohio State favorite.
I cannot say I'm surprised by that. So yeah, it's nothing but okay. All right. I've got a little more here. Yeah, 27.5. Yeah, that's what I have here. I found a spreadsheet here. I'm gonna have to go a little out of order with it, but that's okay. 27.5. That's absolutely right. So oh, hold on. I got to pop up ad here. Just trying to get rid of this. Okay. All right. Ohio State. Tomorrow afternoon. The Owls and Buckeyes have never faced each other before, but don't expect FAU to fondly remember this inaugural encounter. Ohio State's last loss to a non-major conference opponent came against the Air Force in the 1990 Liberty Bowl, and its 5 victories over the past 3 seasons each came by 31 or more points. Plus, after losing both Devin Singletary and Kerrith White Jr., Florida Atlantic's offense might be a mess. The Justin Fields and Ryan Day era at Ohio State will begin with a blowout win. Ohio State, 52-7. There's nothing more to say. Michael Bullock has actually come in. That's great. So we just got started, Bullock, so you didn't miss anything. No worries. 52-7, Ohio State. They roll. MF, let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with that. Ohio State should have an easy time. Florida Atlantic is, kind of one of those mid-major teams. Normally, the big guy is supposed to beat down the little guy, unless there's some jitters or something like that at the very beginning. But Ohio State should handle their business like all the other ranked teams have been doing lately. So yeah, Ohio State wins. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
All right, who is it that's playing for the first game?
Ohio State and Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, I think Ohio State to me will have no problem will have no problem here. I think it's going to be a blowout win, like you said. Yeah, I'll go with that 52-7 final score. So not much to say on it. Let's move on to our next top 25 matchup.
Yes, indeed. And that one will be the number 21 Iowa State Cyclones. They're going to be hosting the Panthers of Northern Iowa. High noon over on FS1. They'll be at Jack Trice Stadium. On the call for this one will be Chris Vosters and Ben Lieber. And I have, according to my spread here, well, actually, I don't have a spread. Maybe
I got a spread here. It's Iowa State by 20. The over/under is at 41.
Well, we don't really need over/under, but
it's also good for all the bookies out there who wants to make the bet. So 41.5. Iowa State's a 20-point favorite. I'm just gonna save everybody the lecture here. We got some other games we'll worry about. Like we said, week 1, not so much of any high-profile matchups, but I will go with Iowa State. They should get the job done. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I got Iowa State winning this one. They should have no problem with Northern Iowa as well. So yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time on this. So I'm just going to give it to you, Florio.
A lot has changed since Northern Iowa upset Iowa State to begin the 2016 season. Despite losing stars David Montgomery and Hakeem Butler, the Cyclones earned a spot in the preseason AP poll for just the second time in program history. The last was all the way back in 1978. Defense will fuel their success this season, and they'll provide an early reminder of that in this one. I got Iowa State winning via a shutout here. I say Iowa State wins 28-0. So nothing more to say. Let's move on to our final high noon game. This one will be over on ESPN. We have the number 24 Nebraska Cornhuskers squaring off against the Jaguars of South Alabama from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. And on the call for that one will be Beth Mowins with Anthony Becht and Rocky Boyman. And I have Nebraska as a 36-point favorite. G Bullock, I wonder who you like in this one.
I'm gonna have to take a moment to think about that one. Yeah, right. Yeah, I got the Nebraska Cornhuskers rolling to a big victory over South Alabama. I'm gonna say 42-0. That's gonna be my final score with this one. So, Florio, it's yours.
It seems safe to say Nebraska won't be starting out 0-6 this year. Since joining the FBS in 2012, South Alabama is 1-10 against Power 5 opponents, with 9 of those losses coming by a margin of at least 20 points. And the Jaguars had one of the worst defenses in the nation in 2018, allowing at least 28 points against all 11 FBS opponents. If Adrian Martinez is going to legitimately vie for the Heisman, it starts with a stat-stuffing performance here. 59-10. Nebraska all day. Nothing more to say. MF, unanimous?
Yeah, I gotta go unanimous decision. Of course, Nebraska needs to prove something. They gotta show the nation that that they're gonna be a legitimate threat. There's a lot of expectations, especially going into this upcoming season. Nebraska kind of failed to meet expectations a year ago. So Adam Frost has a lot to ride on this season. So an impressive win, a dominating victory here will really put Lincoln at ease. However, if they don't play really well, or if they let South Alabama hang in for even a quarter or so, you're gonna start hearing the chattering and the whispers about trouble in Lincoln. So now Nebraska should dominate. They should win the game. They gotta come out and just pound them to the ground early. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. So Anthony, let's give it back to you.
And now we're going to move on to the late afternoon games, starting with a 3 o'clock kickoff for our next matchup. It will feature the number 13 Washington Huskies at home against the Eastern Washington Eagles at Alaska Airlines Field at Husky Stadium. 3 o'clock kickoff over on the Pac-12 network. It's going to be Ted Robinson along with Yogi Roth and Lewis Johnson on the call for that one. No spread on my list unless MF has it. So it's
no spread either. No, I don't got. This is the one. This is one of, I want to say, one of 2 games that I don't have a spread for you, Florio. Sorry.
No worries. Besides, Washington's got to be a substantial favorite anyway.
Oh yeah, obviously. I think the reason why you don't have a spread is maybe because and I'm gonna be really honest with you, the bookies might think that it's gonna be so one-sided. That's why there's no spread at all. That has happened before, where a team is so good against an inferior team that the bookies just was like, you know what? Nah, we're not gonna put a spread on this because there's no point. This is an obvious pick.
Right. So when these teams last met in 2014, the Huskies barely won a 59-52 shootout. EWU also defeated Washington State to open the 2016 season and made it all the way to last year's FCS championship game. In other words, this isn't your average throwaway game against an FCS opponent, but the new quarterback running back combo of Jacob Eason and Salvan Ahmed should be able to take care of business. So I got Washington winning this one 42-23. That's my final score. Nothing more to say. MF, let's get your thoughts on these cross-state rivals.
Definitely cross-state rivals, no doubt about it. But I got to go with Washington. I think Washington is poised for a big run here. I know a couple of weeks ago, a lot of people were talking about Washington being maybe, we'll wait and see what happens, with the Pac-12. But Washington's always a team that you always keep an eye on to not only be a threat for the Rose Bowl, but also possibly a college football playoff team, or at least New Year's Six. Let's say that. So we'll wait and see what happens. But I do got Washington winning in a laugher. Easy victory for them. Bullock, go.
I actually have a spread when it comes to this game with Washington and East Washington. I got it on the ESPN app, and they actually have Washington as a 21-point favorite.
All right,
that's
so
what
there you go.
Yeah, so I figure I might as well get it to you guys here. So, but yeah, I do agree with you guys. I got Washington winning this one as well. They should have no problems here, but they just got to do their job. They got to take it to East Washington early and often, and not let them hang around, because if they do, they could be in some serious trouble. But I just don't see that happening. So nothing more to say. Floria, let's move on to our next matchup, which I believe is the Chick-fil-A kickoff game.
Yes. On paper, it's an intriguing matchup, but let's be realistic. It's not going to be all that intriguing when you really think about it. The number 2 Alabama Crimson Tide squaring off against the Duke Blue Devils. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta, Georgia, on ABC. And on the call for this one, it's Steve Levy. It's Steve Levy's team. Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Todd McShay, and Molly McGrath on the sidelines for that. And Alabama, a 35-point favorite. Oh, man. MF, I mean, it may look intriguing on paper, but let's be realistic. This is going to be a bloodbath.
And the thing is that Duke is one of those teams that is up and coming in the ACC. So don't get it twisted. Duke is rising. They're a bowl-eligible team. They always make a bowl game year in and year out. And there was a year where they were really good in the ACC. But with that said, there's so many powerhouses that even in the ACC nowadays that Duke is definitely going to have a rough season. I agree. I think that's going to happen. Alabama right now is spitting mad. They know that, everybody, the expectation is this: national championship or bust. It doesn't matter how it goes, how it's played out, or the whole 9 yards. Alabama is always a threat with NFL-style players, guys that gets drafted to the NFL that's going to be big names. Offensively, you got Tua Tagovailoa, who is right now, I believe, who was the Heisman Trophy winner a year ago and really didn't do that great in the college football playoff. Obviously, he wants to get a bounce back, because right now, the entire country is talking about Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback from Clemson. I think this is going to be a show-out game for Tua Tagovailoa. He's going to come out and tell the nation, hello, I'm still here, and Alabama has not gone anywhere. Yes, this is going to be a bloodbath. This is going to be a statement win by Alabama. I'm going to go so far to say it that I believe when we do our first power poll, Alabama will be the #1 team in the power poll next week. I'm calling it right now. 59-3. Alabama crushes Duke. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, Alabama's going to be coming into this season, with a lot of motivation. After getting blown out in that national championship game earlier this year. So, they're going to want to come out strong and take it to Duke early and often. And yeah, Tua Tagovailoa is going to, a lot of people are talking about that Lawrence kid from Clemson, but Tua's probably like, hello, have you guys forgotten about me? Yeah, so, yeah, but probably by around this time next week, they'll be #1 in our power poll. So, yeah, I'm gonna say my final score, and I'm gonna say 62-3 is gonna be my final score. It's gonna be roll tide roll. Florio, let's just say Duke is another victim.
Yes, the next victim game. That's going to be our mantra all year when it comes to Alabama, even though they were the victim of a beatdown in the national championship game against Clemson in January. But in last year's neutral site season opener against an ACC team playing for the first time without a quarterback who was a first-round draft pick, Alabama cruised to a 51-14 victory over Louisville. This one will be even uglier. The Crimson Tide now have well-established weapons on offense and should be better on defense. This will be a rough start to a long season for the Dukies, I'm sorry to say. So 58-10, that's my final score. 58-10, Alabama all over Duke. So nothing more to say. Let's move on to our next matchup. Another dud enhancement game here. 3:30 over on the Big Ten Network. The number 15 Penn State Nittany Lions at Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley. They're going to be hosting. They're going to be hosting the Vandals of Idaho, and on the call for that one will be Brandon Gaudin, James Laurinaitis, and Elise Menaker. And according to my spreads here, I think I have a spread for this one, don't I? No, I don't. Unless one of you guys have it. For
I don't
Idaho,
have one either.
No? Okay.
You got one, Fleck?
What game?
Idaho and Penn State?
Idaho and Penn State.
Nope, this is one that's off the board.
Yeah, you had a feeling. So,
Yeah, me too.
all right. So, no problem. Bullock, we know it's going to be another route, but just get it out.
Yeah, this is going to be another route here. Penn State's defense is definitely going to be all over Idaho right here. I'm going to say my final score is going to be 42-7 is going to be my final score. So nothing more to say. Florio, what's yours?
In its two games against FBS opponents last year, Idaho lost 79-13 to Fresno State and 63-10 to Florida. This will be a nice warm-up affair for a new-look offense led by Sean Clifford and Ricky Slade, and this vaunted Penn State defense might open the season with a shutout victory. Keyword is might, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I got Penn State in a shutout, 49-0. Nothing more to say. MF, Penn State. Easy opener.
Easy opener, must need it situation, no doubt about it. Penn State should win this one pretty handily going away. So nothing more to say. Florio, next game.
And we actually have a somewhat of an intriguing matchup for this next one. This will be at 4 o'clock over on Fox. This could be like a Rose Bowl matchup, because it's a Big Ten versus Pac-12 matchup. The number 25 Stanford Cardinal, Stanford Stadium, Palo Alto. They're going to be hosting the Wildcats of Northwestern, a team that surprised a lot of us. And Stanford is opening up as only a 6.5-point favorite. So when it comes to spreads, this is actually the number 2 game of the week here, even though it may not be the most attractive matchups. So yes, indeed. So on the call for this one, it will be Joe Davis, Brock Huard, and Bruce Feldman. And like I said, Stanford opening up as a 6.5-point favorite. It's time to finally find out what Hunter Johnson can do. After playing sparingly as a freshman at Clemson before transferring to Northwestern and sitting out last season, the former 5-star recruit will presumably be the guy for the Wildcats. Unfortunately, his debut as a starter will come on the road against a Stanford squad that has arguably the best defensive back in the entire country in Paulson Adebo. Northwestern's next game against UNLV should be more enjoyable for Johnson. I got Stanford winning 31-20, Stanford over Northwestern in one of the very few intriguing games of this opening week. So nothing more to say, MF. This is almost like a Rose Bowl matchup because of the conferences.
It is. This would if both teams would win their respective conferences, this would be a Rose Bowl matchup, no doubt about it. I'm gonna go with Stanford. Stanford is definitely the better team in this matchup. I really got nothing else to say, so Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I got Stanford winning this one as well. I mean, this should be an intriguing matchup. I mean, like you said, especially after what we saw from Northwestern, and this is going to be interesting to see. I mean, if Stanford can get out to a good start, they may be able to do this. But if Northwestern can, if they can control the game and get it to go their way, they just may be able to pull it off here. But yeah, either way, I got Stanford winning this. Nothing more to say, Floria. Let's move on to our next matchup.
And we have a 6 o'clock kickoff for our next matchup. This will be streaming. This is a streaming site game. This will be over on ESPN Plus, the brand new ESPN Plus. We have the number 22 Syracuse Orange squaring off against the Liberty Flames, Williams Stadium in Liberty. And I actually found an announcer list for this one, surprisingly. We have Matt Warner, Joe Jotch, Bobby Bolig, and Melanie Newman working this one. And Syracuse opening up as 18-point favorites, according to this makeshift spread I have here. So trying to just looking this up. Who starts off on this one? I got
It should be me.
MF. Okay. All right, MF. Syracuse. Now, we talked about Northwestern. Northwestern, one of those surprise teams, made it to the Big Ten title game but got beat down. But Syracuse, here's another team that came out of nowhere. They were red hot at one point, and then they cooled off, especially after what Notre Dame did to them. So
yeah,
stadium. So Syracuse bounce back year, and it starts here with Liberty.
And they should get the easy win on the first game. I think Syracuse is poised for a big run here. Obviously, they had a good season last year. Unfortunately, some things kind of didn't go their way at the end, and down they went. But it's going to be an interesting season for them. And like I said, I think Syracuse is going to win. So nothing more to say, Michael Bullock. I give it to you. I got Syracuse winning easily.
Yeah, I got Syracuse winning easily as well. Syracuse, like you said, had a pretty good season last year, so it's going to be interesting to see how they start off here. But it should definitely be an easy win for them. So I'm gonna go 28-7. It's going to be my final score. So Florio, it is yours.
Liberty scored at least 41 points in 50% of its games last season, and the Flames bring back their starting quarterback, top rusher, and top 2 receivers. But those offensive explosions came against teams with terrible defenses, which doesn't even remotely describe this Syracuse team. Liberty was shut out by Auburn and blown out by Army, Virginia, and North Texas. Expect something along those lines. I got Syracuse winning easily, 45-17, Syracuse over Liberty. And now, gentlemen, let's get into the primetime matchups. And we started off with a 7:30 kickoff. And we actually have a conference matchup here. We already had one with the ACC with Clemson easy over Georgia Tech. An SEC matchup here. The number 3 maiden Georgia Bulldogs squaring off against the Vanderbilt Commodores over at Vanderbilt Stadium. ESPN, 7:30 kickoff. And it'll be Tom Hart with Jordan Rogers and Cole Kubelik on the call for that one. And Georgia opening up as a 21-point favorite. So Bullock, Georgia, so close yet so far away from them last season. Just missing the playoff despite an incredible year. And then what happened in the Sugar Bowl against Texas. Big time bounce back for the maiden Georgia Bulldogs coming up here.
Oh yeah, they definitely. They definitely are looking for a bounce back, especially after the way things went down. I mean, obviously losing in the SEC title game to Alabama, and then the Sugar Bowl to Texas. So it was pretty much a little bit of a struggle for them to end the season. So they're definitely going to be looking to get off to a good start. I mean, Kirby Smart's going to be relying on, obviously, Jake Fromm, who's coming back after a strong season where the Bulldogs average about almost 38 points a game and almost 465 yards of offense per game. But the thing is, he's going to have a bunch of new receivers after losing the top 5 pass catchers from 2018, and 4 of them go into the NFL. And the only one that's basically back, who is the most experienced receiver, is senior Tyler Simmons, even though he's only caught 14 passes. So, yeah, and of course, Georgia also has some 7 starters back on defense, so that should definitely help them out too. So, to me, I got Georgia winning this one, and I'm going to say my final score is 35 to 10. It's going to be my final score. Florio, it's yours.
Georgia is one of just 2 ranked teams playing a road game against a Power 5 opponent. The other is Notre Dame at Louisville on Labor Day Monday night. But don't go talking yourself into the possibility of a trap game. The Bulldogs' next 2 contests are at home against Murray State and Arkansas State, so they won't get caught looking ahead to anything. And it's all but unanimous that Vanderbilt is going to be the worst team in the SEC East. Look for Georgia to use this as an opportunity to release some pent-up rage from months of hearing about the inevitability of another Alabama versus Clemson national championship. So, nothing more to say. Georgia, no trouble here. 49-13, Georgia all over Vandy. Nothing more to say. MF, they've got some Viper-like rage they need to get out of their system.
Viper-like rage is not even the word. I mean, they're this is like the bull in the china shop type rage. They are heated. They let Alabama win the SEC championship, and if it wasn't for that, maybe they could have been playing for the national championship this year. You don't know. They could have been in the playoff. Alabama could have been on the outside looking in. But at the end of the day, they want this bad. They know. With Jake Fromm, with all the guys that they have, with the coaching staff, with the players that they got from recruitment and everything else, that they are poised for yet another SEC championship run. And this time, finish the job, beat Alabama, because we all know Bama will probably be there at the end. And they got to beat Alabama to win the SEC championship for their validation more than anything else. This is the first start. This is the first step to that. Georgia wins. The maiden Georgia Bulldogs win in a rout. And Florio, I give it back to you.
Alrighty, and we move on to our next primetime matchup. This one over on the SEC network. The number 6 LSU Tigers under the lights at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. You know how fun that is. They're going to be squaring off against the Eagles of Georgia Southern. On the call for the SEC network will be Mike Cousins, Kirk Morrison, and Ed Ashoff. And LSU opening up as a 28-point favorite. Now, this one could maybe possibly sort of be a trap game for the highly touted SEC team. The Tigers have a road game against Texas next week, which is looking like it could be our game of the week unless there's any more intriguing games, but which is bound to be somewhere in the back of their minds. And it has been a hot minute since they've had to deal with a triple option offense, something that caused a major problem for Alabama in the first half of last year's game against the Citadel. It might be interesting early, but LSU's talent will eventually prevail. I got LSU winning 38-17 over Georgia Southern. Nothing more to say. MF, what do you say to that?
I kind of agree with that, Anthony. I think Georgia Southern is going to give LSU a little bit of some fits because of that triple option, and because we saw it last year against Alabama. And yeah, for about a quarter and a half, Bama didn't really know how to defensively play it. They were actually caught flat-footed. So I could see that happen again. I could see LSU kind of fall behind the 8 ball a little bit. Not early. I mean, they could probably give up an early touchdown, be down like 7-0. But I do believe at the end it's going to be a rout, and I do believe LSU is going to get the job done. So I could see this being like a 38-14 affair where, like I said, Georgia Southern comes out with that triple option, and until you figure it out, when you see it the first time, they're probably going to be like, what is this? They've never seen a triple option before, so this isn't a conventional defense that's run in SEC games. So, I mean, you're going to have some problems. There's going to be a little bit of some trouble at the very beginning. At the end of the day, LSU's way too good, way too powerful. They should handle this one pretty easily. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you. 38-14, LSU wins.
Yeah, I agree with you. This could be, like you said, a trap game for LSU, but yeah, I don't think they're going to let this one get away from them and let a team like them come in and like Georgia Southern come in and give them fits here. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go 38-14. LSU beats Georgia Southern. So Florio, it is yours.
All right, MF and Bullock. I know you boys are ready for this one, especially MF, because it is MF and Bullock's team, the number 7 Michigan Wolverines, at home in the big house of Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. 7:30 kickoff over on the Big Ten Network. They're going to be hosting the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee, and on that call will be Kevin Kugler, Matt Millen, and Rick Pizzo. They will have it, and Michigan opening up as a 33.5-point favorite. So, MF, it's only fitting we started off with you. You are our Michigan authority here. So,
yep.
So what do you think, Michigan? How are things looking for the Maize and Blue this year?
Well, defensively, we're going to be looking a little different. We don't have our star players as we did, but we do have, Shea Patterson as our quarterback. We do have a new running back look, so there's going to be some new differences. But if you know Michigan really well, they normally handle their business. Now, the thing is, they have been prone to the major upset, and especially to a mid-major team. We all know about the Appalachian State moment. We know what happened there. So, for Michigan, you just got to play it smart. Work the clock, run the football, establish tempo early. That's how you get the job done. Michigan has been, especially in the later years, they've been handling their business, especially at home. First games only against non-conference teams in Michigan, 17-1 is Michigan. They hardly ever lose in the big house. They're not going to lose now. Michigan wins 38-7. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Bullock, are you with us? Oh, I think we might have lost Bullock for the moment. So I'll have to take the reins here. So yeah, like I said, Bullock's had a busy day. So there he is. Okay.
No,
All right, I thought we might have lost you for a minute. All right, Michigan, your team against Middle Tennessee. How about it?
yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, Michigan. I mean, we all know the history, especially like you said with them losing to Appalachian State. I mean, they just got to get off to a good start here against Middle Tennessee, and who knows? I mean, it could be the beginning of something big this year. I mean, who knows? This could be a big year for Jim Harbaugh, because who knows what could happen if they fail to meet expectations. So I got Michigan winning. Flory, what's yours?
After more than 12,000 passing yards and 100 touchdowns, the Brent Stockstill era at Middle Tennessee is over. But even if the lefty was back for a sixth season, Michigan would be expected to destroy the Blue Raiders in the Big House. Group of 5 opponents have been no problem for Jim Harbaugh, and this might be his best team yet. I got Michigan rolling in this one. Easy win, 52-10. Michigan over Middle Tennessee. Nothing more to say except, gentlemen, it's time. It's time for, without question, the game of the week for week 1 of this college football season. And what a beauty this one should be. The number 16 Auburn Tigers squaring off against the number 11 Oregon Ducks. AT&T Stadium, Jerry World, Arlington, Texas. And ABC has moved up the kickoff time. It's not at 8 o'clock anymore. It's now at 7:30, which I think is a great move. And when it comes to this game, yeah, you know who's going to be working this one. The A team of A teams. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Maria Taylor. They will be there. And this is the smallest spread of any of our matchups this week. Auburn is favored by only 3.5. And remember, these two teams met January of 2011. These two teams met for the national championship in University of Phoenix Stadium in Arizona, and it was Auburn who won on a field goal at the end. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, come on in. You get to lead off on what is far and away the game of the week for week 1. Number 11, Oregon. Number 16, Auburn in Jerry World. This is going to be a beauty.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely going to be a beauty right here when it comes to this game. I mean, yeah, two teams that played in the national championship in January of 2011, and yeah, Gus Malzahn is now going into his 7th season as the coach of the Auburn Tigers. But the thing is, guys, he's feeling some heat at Auburn because last year they went 8-5, which was another disappointing record. So, quarterback Justin Herbert, a potential first-round NFL draft pick, opted to stay at Oregon for his senior season. That was just another reason. Cristobal, who is in his 3rd season as the coach for the Ducks, is confident that this team can meet expectations. So, yeah, I mean, Auburn is going into this game with a true freshman starting quarterback whose name is familiar to the program. Bo Nix had a record-setting prep career that included Class 6A state titles at Alabama the past 2 seasons, while playing for his father, Patrick Nix. He is set to become the first Auburn freshman to start an opener quarterback since Travis Tidwell back in 1946. The January enrollee beat out Joey Gatewood for the starting job. And of course, Auburn has 5 fifth-year starters on the offensive line, so that should definitely help out the freshman starter. And Auburn is playing a Pac-12 team in the opener for the 2nd year in a row. Of course, last year they beat Washington 21-16. So, and then of course, Oregon hasn't opened with a win over a ranked team since beating Wisconsin in 2001. The Ducks have won 7 straight openers, though Auburn is 6-0 against Pac-12 teams in neutral site games. Ducks running back C.J. Verdell was the only Power 5 player last season with 1,000 yards rushing and 300 yards receiving. This is the 11th year in a row with a season-opening top 25 matchup at AT&T Stadium. So, yeah, this is going to be a really good one, but I think the thing we got to keep an eye on, guys, is how that offensive line for Auburn, can they protect their freshman starter, Bo Nix? If they can protect him well, I think they may have a chance. But the thing is, on the other side, you got Justin Herbert, who was back for his senior season. So that gives an edge a little bit to that Oregon offense. So, man, this is a tough one. Part of me wants to go with Auburn since they are the favorite, but until I see something from Nix to really make me believe in him, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. It's gonna be a close one, but I'm gonna give the slight edge to Oregon. My final score, 27-24. Oregon beats Auburn. Florio, it is yours.
Hands down, the biggest game of the week, and one that is sure to have some implications for the way too early college football playoff conversation. Auburn might be the better team by the end of the season, but it is starting a true freshman quarterback in Bo Nix, while Oregon will have senior Justin Herbert throwing behind the most experienced offensive line in the country. The only game between ranked opponents in week 1, and a doozy at that. Oregon carries the hopes of the Pac-12 into Arlington, and that starts first and foremost with quarterback Justin Herbert. The big arm signal caller must take control of the game if the Ducks want to win. And he has running back C.J. Verdell and a host of receivers to spread the ball around. Gus Malzahn has tabbed dual-threat quarterback Bo Nix as the starter for Auburn, but don't be shocked if you see Joey Gatewood take some reps as well. The biggest positional matchup in this game will be between Oregon's offensive line, which returns all 5 starters and boasts such players as Shane Lemieux and Calvin Throckmorton, and Auburn's defensive front, which includes Marlon Davidson, Nick Coe, Derek Brown, and Big Cat Bryant. It's not hyperbole to say this game hinges on who wins this battle. At the end, it's very tough. But I'm going to take a chance here, and I'm going to go with Bullock on this one. I'm going to go with Oregon to win this one 24-21. And I'll also throw in this little bonus prediction for you. If Oregon loses, you can just about already eliminate the Pac-12 from the college football playoff hunt. So we'll see what happens. 24-21, Oregon over Auburn. Nothing more to say. MF, hands down, the game of the week. The only one that's really worth watching.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And you're also right about one thing. If Oregon loses, yeah, I think the Pac-12 is dead in the water. They will have zero representation going into the college football playoff. And we're talking about that in week 1. Believe that. We're talking about we're talking about maybe a Pac-12 team not even making the college football playoff in week 1? Really? This early? So obviously, I know Eric Carrier is going to disagree with all of us because we're all picking Auburn to win. I just don't see how they are. They look like a much better team, a well-oiled machine, and I just feel like they got what it takes to make a deeper run. And look, I would love to be wrong. I would love for Oregon to win because Oregon is one of those teams that's always been there in the mix year in and year out. But like you've also said, Auburn is also been in the mix, and they've been in the national title picture year in and year out. So it's going to be very interesting to see. And yeah, Auburn had a horrible year last year. So this is a make or break, like Michael Bullock said. If Auburn does not get off the schneid at the beginning of this season, if they struggle, man, that pressure comes more fierce for all of the coaching staff on Auburn because it is
Gus Malzahn's going to be on the hot seat, no doubt about it.
No, absolutely. Gus Malzahn and the entire coaching staff will be in the hot seat. So they need this game. They need to win. No doubt about it. This is a nationally televised game, a prime time game on ABC. You got to show up or show out. And they have to win this game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If Oregon loses, I think they'll be okay. They won't be a national title picture, but they'll probably play for the Rose Bowl. If Auburn loses, the pitchforks and the torches and the pitchforks are going to be coming to Auburn fast and furious. And you know who's going to be the leader of that pack, Anthony? Lindsey McCormick. She will probably ask for Gus Malzahn's head on a platter if this happens. Auburn wins. Florio, go.
Just to correct you, MF, Bullock and I have Oregon actually winning this game, not Auburn.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
Okay.
So.
Noted.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We got 5 games left, 3 on the Saturday slate. We have a 7:40 kickoff on our next matchup here. This will be over on FS1. We have the number 20 Iowa Hawkeyes squaring off against the Red Hawks of Miami of Ohio, Kinnick Stadium in Iowa. And on the call for this one will be, let me see if I can find it here. Brian Custer and Robert Smith will have the call for that one. And Iowa opening up as a 21.5-point favorite. Miami doesn't have a player on its roster who has attempted a pass at the collegiate level. So opening the season against an Iowa defense that held opponents below 300 yards a game last season should be interesting. The Hawkeyes offense has some big unknowns after losing tight ends Noah Fant and TJ Hawkinson and top wide receiver Nick Easley, but it should be able to put up points in this one. So I got Iowa winning easily. I'm going to say 45-12. Iowa over Miami of Ohio. Nothing more to say. MF, you've always been high on Iowa. this should be an easy win for the Hawkeyes here.
It will, no doubt. Iowa wins. There's really nothing more to say. Bullock, go.
Yeah, I got Iowa winning this one too. No problem. I'm going to say 42-7 is going to be my final score as well. So nothing more to say. Let's just move right along, Florio.
8 o'clock kickoff for our next matchup. This will be over on the Longhorn Network. The number 10 Texas Longhorns opening up their new season at Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium. They're going to be hosting the Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech. And on the call for this one will be Lowell Galindo, Ahmad Brooks, and Taylor Davis. And I do not have a spread for this one. So I'm guessing you guys probably don't either. So MF, we started with you. Texas, they should be a sizable favorite here. And I remember last year you were very high on Texas next to
I actually have one, guys.
I got 21 points.
Oh, 21 points is the spread. Bullock? All
right. Well, to what I have here, they are 19.5-point favorites. So they're big favorites no matter how you cut it.
Yeah. We'll say 19.5 to 21. That's the spread in favor of Texas. And MF, as we started off with you here, I remember last year during our shows, nobody was more high on Texas than you were. Do you still feel that way going into
Absolutely, yes. I still believe. I think they're the number 2 choice for the Pac in the Big 12 to win the conference. Of course, obviously, you got to talk about Oklahoma because Oklahoma is the favorite, but Texas is the second choice. Texas is definitely there. I think this is going to be a very interesting season for them, and I got them winning this one pretty easily. So nothing more to say. Texas wins. Bullet, go.
Yeah, I got Texas winning this one as well. I mean, they should have no problem here as well. So let's just move on to you, Florio.
Yeah, Texas. Let me say it. As I find the notes I had for this one. All right. Following back-to-back season opening losses to Maryland, this home game against Louisiana Tech should be a most welcome walk in the park for Texas. Emphasis on should, because the Bulldogs have been solid under their head coach Skip Holtz and have been known to give Power 5 teams a serious scare. They almost came back from a 24-0 deficit to stun LSU last year, and they ought to have won the game at South Carolina the previous year. But mobile quarterbacks have been a major problem for Louisiana Tech, as demonstrated by blowout losses to Nick Fitzgerald and Mississippi State in each of the past 2 seasons. Sam Ehlinger will have a fun evening against this defense. So I got Texas easily in this one, 45-20, Texas over Louisiana Tech. Let's move on to our final Saturday night game of this week 1. 10 o'clock kickoff over on the Pac-12 network. The number 23 Washington State Cougars at home at Martin Stadium in Pullman, Washington. They're going to be hosting the Aggies of New Mexico State. Washington State opening up as a 32-point favorite in this one. And on the call for this game will be Guy Haberman, Chad Brown, and Samantha Pejic. And like I said, Washington State opening up as a 32-point favorite. Michael Bullock, I think I know where this one's heading.
Yeah, it's heading towards the Washington State Cougars making New Mexico State look bad. I think this is going to be a big-time blowout. I mean, I think Anthony Gordon is definitely going to lead the way for them. So I really got nothing more to say. Washington State wins big. I'm going to say 52-10 is going to be my final score. Florio, it is yours.
New Mexico State had an abysmal defense last season, which is a good place to start for a Washington State offense breaking in a new quarterback. For much of the offseason, we expected it to be Eastern Washington graduate transfer Gage Gubrud, but it turns out it'll be redshirt senior Anthony Gordon getting the start. given the passing stats that Mike Leach's no-name guys have put up throughout his career at Washington State and Texas Tech, it wouldn't shock anyone if Gordon throws for 500 yards here. So I got Washington State winning this one easily, 49-14. Nothing more to say. MF, let's get your quick thought.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, guys. This is going to be a pretty easy game to call. I got Washington State winning as well, so nothing more to say. Let's just move on to the Sunday night game.
Yes, we have a Sunday night college football game. Yes, and it starts over on ABC, 7:30 Sunday night. The number 4 Oklahoma Sooners opening up against the Houston Cougars at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma. ABC will have this game, and on the call for that one, it will be Sean McDonough's crew. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, and Holly Rowe. And Oklahoma opening up as a 24.5-point favorite. Oklahoma led the nation in scoring last season, and Houston scored at least 41 points in 10 of 11 games started by quarterback De'Ara King. This is the type of game for which Vegas cannot possibly set the over-under high enough. At some point, though, Oklahoma's defense is going to get a few stops, and there's no good reason to believe that Houston's defense will be able to follow suit. The Cougars gave up at least 45 points in each of their 5 losses last season, and holding Lincoln Riley's offense below 45 is a pipe dream. And that's all there is to say on that. I got Oklahoma winning this one. High-scoring affair. Houston will give them fits early, but I think Oklahoma will ultimately pull away. Highest-scoring game of the week. I got Oklahoma winning 59-35 over Houston on Sunday night. Nothing more to say. MF, what do you got to say about JR and the Woodson's favorite?
Yeah, I got Oklahoma winning, but remember, I got burned by Houston about 3 years ago by this very same team. Oklahoma, you better not do this to me again. 3 years ago, I said Houston had no chance to beat Oklahoma, and they stunned us. I got stunned. An upset victory. Oklahoma, you better get this right. And oh, by the way, Anthony, you were talking about the over-under? 82.5. That's how much the combined score is supposed to be. 82.5. Yeah, Oklahoma wins. This is going to be a high-scoring affair, no doubt about it. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is going to be a high-scoring game, no doubt about it in my mind. I'm going to say 59-35 is going to be my final score. Oklahoma is going to roll all over Houston. Sooner, indeed. Nothing more to say. Florio, let's get to the final game of Week 1, and it's your team, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
And a great way to cap off your Labor Day weekend and your Labor Day all together. Labor Day, Monday night, we have the number 9 Notre Dame Fighting Irish squaring off against the Cardinals of Louisville at Cardinal Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. So nice. We get to see them twice this weekend. We're getting the A-team again for this one. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Maria Taylor, and Notre Dame opening up as a 20.5-point favorite. MF, Notre Dame last year, what can we say? Magical season for Notre Dame. I can't tell you how encouraged I was by this team last year. Such an encouragement and a blessing for me to watch. Making the college football playoff for the first time in school history. But then Clemson beat the snot out of us. And what's the fate for Notre Dame this year?
A lot of people don't have much high hopes for Notre Dame, unfortunately, Anthony. A lot of people don't believe that Notre Dame is going to make it this upcoming season. A lot of people believe that they're going to get left behind. It's just one of those things. It's one of those situations. I don't know why, but I just feel like Notre Dame won't make the run or won't make a deep threat at the end. And yeah, I truly believe that they won't make it. So when it comes to anything else, yeah, I truly believe that Notre Dame will win the game. They should win this one. They should win this one going away. So at the end of the day, I got Notre Dame winning. And yeah, nothing more to say. So Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you. The Fighting Irish will defeat and beat Louisville in their first game.
Yeah, I could definitely expect the same thing too. I've been hearing the chirping going on as well. People are not giving this Fighting Irish team a chance, especially after what happened last season. They lost some players, and I don't know if you guys saw this, guys, but Derek Ferrer, he went on a rant basically calling out the Notre Dame haters. So, yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, they had a really good season last year. I mean, I expect them to be good again this season. Will it be good enough for them to get into the college football playoff?
Nope.
We got an answer here, but here's the thing. We just got to wait and see how this first game is going to be really telling to see who, if Notre Dame has a shot. So I'm not ready to say yes or no yet, guys. So I got Notre Dame winning this one. So if you guys want to jump on board, I know Fletch said no. I'm interested to hear what Florio has to say. But as far as me, I got no say in it. I'm waiting to see what happens with him. Ask me again sometime halfway through the season. Then perhaps I'll give you an answer. But for right now, I have no say in it. Florio, it's yours.
Well, for me, before I get into my trade of thought for this game, of course I want it. I mean, just like MF and Bullock want Michigan to be in it, of course. But it, like I said during our preview show about a week or so ago, I got Notre Dame going around 9-3, 10-2 this year, which I don't think would be good enough for the playoff. As hard as that is for me to say, I'm afraid. So, of course, I want it, but I just don't know if they will. I mean, last year was magical. It was such a blessing and an encouragement for me, but I'm afraid it's not going to be as magical this time around. But it will start in the right direction. Over the final 7 games of last season, Louisville allowed 57 points a game, losing each game by at least 18 points. Some of that was just a matter of giving up on a lost year, but the Cardinals were never built to compete last year, and a coaching change isn't going to fix that problem overnight. Notre Dame might be a little overrated at number 9 in the preseason AP poll, but the Fighting Irish will certainly look the part of a title contender in their primetime destruction of the Cardinals. Yes, the Cards will come out fired up in Scott Satterfield's debut as coach, but the Irish present too many challenges up front on both sides of the ball. Look for Ian Book to lead 2 second-quarter touchdown drives before the Irish cruise in the second half. 49-13, Notre Dame over Louisville on Monday night. Great way to cap off my Labor Day. I mean, I'll be flipping between that game and Monday Night Raw, obviously. So big night for me come Monday night. Let me just say that. So, alrighty. So that will conclude the college football portion of this Football Friday season premiere, this football show premiere, if you will. But we have one more order of business to get into, gentlemen. Next Thursday, as you all know, will be the start of the 100th season of the National Football League. And I don't think we could have asked for a better way to start this season off than with the oldest and perhaps greatest rivalry in the history of the National Football League. The Green Bay Packers squaring off against the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field in Chicago, NBC, Thursday night around 8:30 or so. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, they will have it. And man, you can't think of a better way to start this brand new and very special milestone 100th season of the National Football League. And it started off with the greatest rivalry and the oldest rivalry of all time. What else is there to say, guys? I mean, let me just find my odds here. Hopefully we'll have some odds and then we'll not be NAs. But all right, I actually have a number here. Chicago opening up as a 3-point favorite. And here's the numbers, guys. Regular season only. We're not counting playoffs. They've only met twice in the playoffs. They're 1-1 against each other. Regular season, gentlemen. The Green Bay Packers lead this all-time series. Are you ready for this? 96-94 with 6 ties. Bears beat the Packers in Chicago last year, 24-17. Packers last won in Chicago the year before, 2017, 23-16. Michael Bullock, you get the honor again. First, you got to lead off on the game of the week with Auburn and Oregon. Now you get to lead off on the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears, kicking off the milestone 100th season of the National Football League. Only fitting to have the greatest rivalry and the oldest rivalry start it all off.
And what an honor it is to basically kick off and talk about the 100th season of the National Football League. I mean, who'd have thunk that? 100 seasons. I mean, that's just unreal. And like you said, what a great way to kick it off with one of, if not the oldest rivalry in the National Football League, with the Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Bears. Of course, the Chicago Bears coming off of an unbelievable season, of course, led by, the Coach of the Year, Matt Nagy, and there's a lot of expectations expected for this Chicago Bears team. Of course, can they have a repeat of what we saw last season? We're just gonna have to wait and find out. I mean, the defense of the Bears is expected to be good again. I expect a bigger improvement from Mitchell Trubisky, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Green Bay Packers do, especially Aaron Rodgers under first-year coach Matt LaFleur. So it's tough, but I got to go with the Chicago Bears to get off to a good start and kick off the 100th season of the National Football League with a win here. My final score, I am going to say it's going to be a low-scoring game because of that defense. I'm going to say 20 to 14 is going to be my final score. Florio, it is yours.
Hello, friends. Yes. Well, looking at this matchup, it's ready to kick off next week, and everything will start up with these two squaring off. In years past, the Packers-Bears matchup has brought a lot of entertainment to the fans, and that will likely end up being the case once again this year. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers have missed the playoffs in each of the last 2 seasons, but went on a big spending spree in free agency this offseason to dramatically improve their roster. Mike Pettin and the defense are a lot better, and the franchise feels very good about their offense as well. New head coach Matt LaFleur is bringing a lot of changes, which will be fun to watch. Chicago, on the other hand, won the NFC North last season, but were bounced out of the playoffs in heartbreaking fashion by the Philadelphia Eagles. Matt Nagy and company have not forgotten that pain. They will be looking to start the season off with a point, proving win over the Packers, stating that they are still the team to beat in the division. These two teams are bitter rivals, which usually means a little more chippy moments throughout the game. That kind of football is the best kind of football. and fans should make sure to tune in on Thursday night. All that being said, I'm going to dive in and take a look at 4 bold predictions for this matchup. 4, Khalil Mack starts strong with 2 sacks. Chicago acquired Khalil Mack from the Raiders prior to the start of last season, and he caused problems for the Packers and the rest of the NFL. He is one of the best defensive playmakers in the NFL and will get off to a strong start this season. While the Packers feel they have an improved offensive line, Mack is going to get to Rodgers at least twice. Green Bay simply can't shut him down. Mack is going to make a major difference in the game and help make things difficult on Rodgers and the offense. 3, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a big game. I think he's going to throw at least 4 touchdown passes. Even with Mack breathing down his neck, Rodgers is still one of the best quarterbacks to ever throw a football in the NFL. He is coming off an offseason that saw the media continually attack him. Rodgers is going to come out looking to make a statement of his own. LaFleur's offense is going to be a much better fit for Rodgers than Mike McCarthy's was at the end of his tenure in Green Bay. He may not rack up as many attempts or as much yardage as he has in years past, but touchdowns are going to be there. I could see him throwing 4 touchdowns against the Bears in week 1, but I don't know. 2, Aaron Jones rushes for over 120 yards. Chicago has a very strong defense, but the LaFleur offense is going to thrive in week 1. Aaron Jones did not play in the preseason, but he is expected to have a major breakout season. That will start right off the bat next week. Jones is going to come in, get a lot of carries, and rack up over 120 yards. Green Bay is going to run the football early and often as they set up Rodgers in the passing game. That will result in a big season for Jones and a big week against the Bears. And finally, Green Bay, there is a chance they could win this. I mean, this is a very tough game to call. I mean, I know Chicago is the correct pick, and I can definitely see that. But Green Bay, I could actually see Green Bay winning this game. I really can. The Bears are arguably just as good, if not better than the Packers. But next week, I should say, I think goes to Green Bay. LaFleur and his offense are going to be tough to stop, and the Green Bay defense will make some big plays. When everything is said and done, the Packers are going to come away with a 1-0 record and a 35-24 win on the road. These 2 teams are going to have a long battle this year for the division title. Green Bay will draw the first blood with a big season-opening victory in the hostile atmosphere of Soldier Field. So I know there's going to be some disagreements on this one. I know I should pick Chicago in this one, but I got this feeling about Green Bay. I really do. So I'm taking the big chance here. 35-24, Green Bay beats Chicago. I know that's going to be a disagreement. I know MF's going to rip my head off, but I don't give a damn. All right, MF, let me have it.
I'm not going to rip your head off because I commend you for it, because if this was probably a couple of years ago, I would absolutely 100% agree with you. But ever since Khalil Mack went to Chicago, that revitalized their defense. The one question that Chicago really has is Mitchell Trubisky. Can he turn it around? Can he take that next step to be an NFL quarterback? And I think the answer is going to be yes. I think he will. So this is where I disagree, but I do believe it's going to be a closer game, and I actually do have Chicago winning it 24-21. I think it's going to be a close game. Would I be stunned if Green Bay steals it? Absolutely not. But I think Chicago's defense is better than Green Bay's, and that's going to be the difference of this game. Nothing more to say. We're done for the night, boys.
Yes, indeed we are. And next week, the college football show will move to Thursday, and Friday will be the return of NFL Friday. And next week on College Football Thursday, it's a little bit of a better week, if I'm going to be honest with you, looking at some of these matchups. We actually have 2 Game of the Week contenders next week. We got 2. Texas A&M squaring off against Clemson, and the primetime game next week, which I think could be the game of the week, LSU against Texas. Oof. And then throw in Stanford against USC. That could be the sleeper game of the week right there. So that's for the college football show. And then Friday, of course, the NFL Friday show. So MF obviously had to leave because of work commitments. So hopefully we'll get him. Hopefully we'll see him again Monday night for Ridiculously Raw. So Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get you started on the shout outs, and then I'll set up the very exciting content for next week.
All right, of course, we thank you all so very much for tuning in here on our first Football Friday show of the year. I mean, it's good to have it back here and to talk football. I mean, I certainly can't wait for this. It's going to be an exciting season, no doubt about it. Of course, shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers who continue to support all of our shows. Of course, to our super fans out there, you guys know who you are. To all of our friends from high school days, you guys know who you are. Of course, our personalities from 6, 10, and 12. Personalities from ESPN, Fox Sports, MLB Network, NFL Network, NHL Network, NBA TV, and all the other networks out there. And of course, our friends from the Road Show. Of course, the three current hosts, Will, Brendan, and Michaela. And of course, former co-hosts Mary Larson and Megan Mooney. So until Monday night for an all-new edition of Ridiculously Raw, this is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. And of course, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it a Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the college football action this Labor Day weekend. And of course, most importantly, enjoy your Labor Day. And of course, stay safe out there. And of course, don't do anything stupid that'll get us upset. I mean, obviously, Labor Day weekend, everybody's going to be out and maybe with some last minute barbecues for the summer season. So just be careful if you're going to be out there, people, especially with drinking, because obviously with drinking and driving. So yeah, so stay safe, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Florio, take us home.
Yeah, we'll do, Bullock. Special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Special shout out to, we have a very special happy birthday shout out to Kevin Woodson, the husband of our dear friend Dee Dee Woodson, of course, the first lady of the Wrestling Forum. Twisted Angel Dee Dee Woodson, her husband Kevin. It was his birthday today. So on behalf of all of us here at Strictly Sports, we want to wish Kevin Woodson a very happy birthday, and we hope he had the most blessed of days, full of blessings and so much love, especially with what they've been going through lately. So a very extra special shout out to Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the Woodson family as always. Our insiders, of course, Matt Ward and Jason Hicksonbaugh. And of course, our good friend Daniel Luttrell from the UK. Our other first ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway. And of course, the crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Albert Raderson, Rob Parsons. Of course, our dear friends as part of our group outing crew, Mike and Brian Keenan, Mike Silvera. Special shout outs to you guys as well. And the rest of our group outing crew. A very special night last night. It was such a blessing, as always. Of course, good old MF Michael Fletcher, who obviously had to leave because of work commitments. And of course, Derek Ferreira, who puts it all together each and every week. All of our friends over at 6, 10, and 12, our personalities, that is. And our friends over at ESPN, FS1, NFL Network, NHL Network, MLB Network, NBA TV. Lindsey McCormick, Status Sorrell. Of course, our friends from the Road Show, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnson. The former co-host, Mary Larson, and Megan Mooney, who's going to be hosting a brand new show over on WJAR Channel 10 starting this Tuesday afternoon at 12:30 called Studio 10. So Megan Mooney will be serving as the host of that show. So I will definitely be, I'm sure we're going to be looking forward to that on Tuesday afternoon, starting Tuesday afternoon at 12:30. And then, and last but not least, my dear friends over at Oasis of Grace Ministries over at 464 Silver Spring Street in Providence. If you need a church home, check them out. Exit 25 off Route 95. Sunday morning at 10:30, the Sunday morning service. 7 o'clock Wednesday night Bible study. Other things going on, and look forward to seeing them all on Sunday as always. And that's it. So The exciting content starts next week. Monday night, of course, we got Ridiculously Raw right back here. We will run down Monday Night Raw, as always, as well as my latest Tony's take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling. And then from there, either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on MF's work schedule, we will have the Cerebral Smack Talk with good old MF Michael Fletcher, as we will run down SmackDown Live. If he has a Mikey's Mindset, I know we'll get into that. And then Thursday, starting next Thursday, we will have College Football Thursday for a few weeks until all the wrestling programming goes down for at least the next month or so. The College Football Show will be on Thursday, and we'll run down the Week 2 lineup. Of course, those two big games next week: Texas A&M against Clemson and LSU against Texas. Those are the two big ones next week. And then next Friday night, the season premiere. Oh, and by the way, not just the top 25 games of Week 2, but also our first power poll of the season next week. And then next Friday night, we will have the season premiere of NFL Friday, as we will run down the rest of the slate of games for week number 1 in the National Football League's 100th season. And that's basically it. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, it's Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, Dede Woodson, Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it a Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed holiday weekend. And until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, you have been watching the season premiere of Football Friday right here on StreamYard.com, streaming on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.